The Triumph Roadster is an automobile which was produced by Britain's Standard Motor Company from 1946 to 1949. It was first available as the Triumph 1800 Roadster 18TR from 1946 to 1948, and then as the Triumph 2000 Roadster TRA from 1948 to 1949. Triumph 1800 Roadster 18TR. The 1800 Roadster, model number 18TR, was designed in the closing days of World War II. Triumph had been bought by the Standard Motor Company in 1944, and the managing director of Standard, Sir John Black, wanted a sports car to take on Jaguar, who had used Standard engines in the pre-war period. Frank Calabi was selected to style the new car. After getting Black's approval for the general shape, Calabi worked with Arthur Ballard to design the details of the body. Design of the rolling chassis was by Ray Turner. Walter Belgrove, who had styled the pre-war Triumphs and was employed as chief body engineer, had no part in the design. Early post-war steel shortages meant that the body was built from aluminium, using rubber press tools that had been used making panels for the largely wooden-bodied Mosquito bomber that had been built by Standard during the war. The frame was hand-welded up from steel tube. The engine was a version of Standard's 1.5-litre, four-cylinder side valve design that had been converted to overhead valves by Harry Westlake and built by Standard exclusively for SS Jaguar before World War II. The Triumph version differed from the Jaguar version in having a 6.7:1 compression ratio instead of the Jaguar's 7.6:1 and a downdraft Solex carburetor instead of the Jaguar's side draft SU. A 4-speed gearbox with synchromesh on the top 3 ratios was used. The tubular steel chassis was a short wheelbase version of the 1800 Saloon, featuring transverse leaf-sprung independent suspension at the front and a live axle with semi-elliptic springs at the rear. The rear track was wider than the front by some 4 inches. Brakes were hydraulic. The body design was anachronistic. A journalist old enough to remember the pre-war Dolomite Roadster that had inspired the car felt that the elegant proportions of the earlier model had been abandoned in favor of a committee-based compromise, a plump Christmas turkey to set against that dainty peacock. More Toadster than Roadster. Quote, "The front had large separate headlamps and the radiator was well back from the front between large coal scuttle wings. Passenger accommodation was on a bench seat that was claimed to seat 3. The car's 64-inch width helped make a reality of the 3 abreast seating, and the approachment column gear change was required. The car's unusual width also made it necessary to fit 3 screen wipers in a row, an example followed by early shallow windscreen Jaguar E-types. Additional room for 2 was provided at the rear in a dicky seat with its own folding windscreen. This was outside the hood that could be erected to cover the front seat. Entry and exit to the dicky seat was never easy and a step was provided on the rear bumper. The Roadster was the last production car with a dicky seat. On test by Autocar magazine in 1947, top speed was found to be 75 miles per hour, 121 kilometers per hour, and 0 to 60 miles per hour, 0 to 96 kilometers per hour, took 34.4 seconds. Evidently keen to be positive without misleading their readers, the magazine described the maximum speed as satisfying but not startlingly high. Triumph 2000 Roadster TRA. The only significant update in the Roadster's production came in September 1948 for the 1949 models, when the 2088cc Vanguard engine, transmission, and rear axle were fitted. A retrograde step was the fitting of a 3-speed gearbox even though it now had synchromesh on bottom gear. Apart from minor modifications to the mounting points, the chassis, suspension and steering were unaltered. This later version of the Roadster was given the model designation TRA. On test, the changes resulted in the top speed increasing marginally to 77 miles per hour, 124 kilometers per hour. But the 0 to 60 miles per hour time was much better at 27.9 seconds. The car was never made in large numbers and was mainly hand-built. 2,501 examples of the 1,800 and 2,000 of the larger engine version were made. Production ended in October 1949. The actor, John Nettles, drove a Roadster 2000 in the 1980s television series Bergerac, Triumph Roadster. This car was announced and a sample displayed at the October 1950 motor shows in Paris and at Earl's Court on stand 145. Its full-width body was built on a standard Vanguard chassis with an engine given twin downdraft carburetors and a higher output. This envelope-type coachwork incorporated more power-actuated components than any previous British car, those components including headlights concealed behind shutters automatically opened when the headlights were switched on, convertible head, windows, seat, and radio aerial. Some of the electro-hydraulic mechanisms were concealed between the twin skins of the body. An illustration is on flick. It does not appear to have entered series production. See Triumph TR1 20TS. Notes. Barker, Ronald. The 18th of January 1968. Smith. Morris A. ed. Were those the days? 1946-9 Triumph Roadsters. Autocar. 128. 3753. 71-74. Cook, Michael. 2001. Chapter 2 The Long Build-Up to the TR. Triumph Cars in America. St. Paul, MN USA. MBI Publishing. ISBN 0-7603-01654. LCCN 2001031,231. Retrieved 17 July 2013. Hingston, Peter. 2007. The Enthusiast's Guide to Buying a Classic British Sports Car. Eaton Bishop, Hereford, UK. Hingston Publishing. p. 164. ISBN 978-0-906555-255. Retrieved 9 September 2014. Langworth, Richard M. 1973. Trundling Along with Triumph, The Story Thus Far. Quote, Automobile Quarterly. Automobile Quarterly. 11. 2. Second quarter. 116-145. LCCN 62004005. Lawrence, Mike. 1996. 1991. Triumph. GB. Quote, A to Z of Sports Cars 1945 to 1990. Paperback ed. Osceola. YUS. MBI Publishing. ISBN 1-870979-818. Retrieved 9 September 2014. Robson, Graham. May 2011. The Book of the Standard Motor Company. Poundbury, Dorchester, UK. Velis Publishing. ISBN 978-1-845843-43-4. Retrieved the 11th of June 2013. Robson, Graham. 1972. The Story of Triumph Sports Cars. Motor Racing Publications. ISBN 0-900549-23-8. The Triumph Roadster Club Limited. http www. West End Classics. Co. UK. Triumph Roadster Specialist. http www. Triumph Roadster. restoring of a Triumph Roadster 1800.